I talk about strategies and tactics. Let me combine the idea of strategies and tactics with a question that I get a lot when I talk about personal branding. That question is, how much time do you, Jason Alba, spend on all of this stuff? Do we have to schedule an hour or 2 hours every day to have a social strategy and a blogging strategy and all this other stuff? Definitely not. What I would suggest is that you take baby steps and do what's appropriate for you right now. If you're working full time and you have a lot of stuff going on after work, you might only have a few minutes a day or a few minutes a week to develop your personal branding strategy. If you're in a job search, you might have 8 to 10 hours a day to work on your personal branding strategy. You'll probably also have a different sense of urgency that propels you to work on this more and deeper. Here's an example of what a strategy over a year's period might look like. For example, the first month you might do something as simple as define your brand boundaries. We're going to get into this in the next module. But the idea is, who are you and who aren't you? Define those boundaries, and that takes you to what could be the next step, which is to define a tagline. This is something that might end up in your email signature, in your LinkedIn profile, on a business card, or something like that. With your brand boundaries defined and a tagline that you're comfortable with, now you might be ready to move towards the 30-second pitch. Each of these steps would represent a month. This isn't something that you have to do in a day. I find that when I'm doing creative stuff, I need to make a little bit of progress, but I need to sleep on that and see how I feel about it the next day. A tagline seems like something that you might be able to do in one day or in one sitting, but I found that it's very, very difficult to come up with a good and appropriate tagline very quickly. The next month, you might order your business cards. There are a lot of examples of business cards that are catchy, fun, memorable, and brand you appropriately. On the flip side, there are a lot of business cards that aren't any of those. Next, you might do something like an About Me portfolio. Can you see how each of these is building on the other? It's probably going to be easy to do an About Me portfolio once you've defined your boundaries, created your tagline and your 30-second pitch, and figured out what you want on your business card. A lot of that might be copied and pasted over to your About Me website. Of course, I want you to work on your LinkedIn profile. There's a LinkedIn course in Pluralsight that I did where I really go deep into what a great profile looks like. I'm not going to suggest that you have to wait until the 6th month before you work on your LinkedIn profile, but I wanted to give you an idea that if you're worried about doing all this stuff at once, you don't have to. It's okay to space it out. The next month, you might work on making sure your picture or avatar is better and more professional and more on brand. Then you can spend a month working on getting testimonials and the right kinds of testimonials and using those testimonials in the right places. Maybe by this point, you're ready to start your professional blog and help people understand your professional breadth and depth and passions. Maybe you'll be ready to write your ebook the next month and do some speaking, whether it's at a conference, within your own company, in your community, or something like that. Who knows what the 12th month is going to look like? But the idea here is that you take something that's bite-sized, spend a fair amount of time on it so you can do the job right, and then move on to the next tactic. As you do this, your brand should get stronger and stronger. Don't feel overwhelmed with the amount of things that you should do. Just work on what you could do when it's the right time.